Everyone, Ken here, day 48 of no poker. 48 days in a row of no poker. Lots of good things happened today and some weird news as well. So we'll get to the weird news in a little bit. This is what they call in the video industry, leading you into watching the entire video, which we'll see if that works. See how it goes. Good stuff that happened today. Today was basically, two funny things happened, or two things happened. Three things happened. Okay, a lot of things happened. One, I had a meeting at 9 a.m. with one of the vendors from CCG, and it felt like half bank heist and half drug deal, because we did it like in the parking lot of the office. He was wearing a mask. I had mine, but I figured since we weren't really getting out of the cars, we were like passing it through the windows, we would be fine. But that didn't even happen. It was more like, do you have the stuff? And he was like, yeah, you got the stuff. And I was like, yeah. And then he like put it on my hood, went back to his car, then I got it, it was really weird and kind of moderately fun, but weird. So hopefully that's not a new normal of businesses, because I kid you not, the police are gonna have their hands full if every normal business meeting goes where everyone's wearing a mask and nobody's doing it. There's like these weird silent drops. It's gonna be nuts. And like not in a good way, like a weird nuts. So that was my morning. I was about 9 a.m. Then I worked for a little bit at the office since I was there, which means I watched a little bit of Netflix and answered some emails. And then I realized Tremors has like 5 movies. I'm on to Tremors number 3, which I don't think I've ever seen. Not quite sure we're gonna make it to Tremors 4 or Tremors 5. We'll see what happens, so I'll let you guys know next week. After that, I got home. Lindsay was given some lunch to the kids, and I decided it is high time that I mowed the yard. So I went full on yard mode from like 12 to like 3:30, weed whacking, other type things. Battery died there. Where were we? Weed whacking. So we were weed whacking. We got the leaf blower out, which I sprayed the kids with. I'm pretty sure it's safe to do that to your children. It's actually a really good parenting tip when your children don't listen to you about taking toys out or doing things that they're not supposed to do. You just hit them with that leaf blower, and it's pretty good. It works pretty fast. What else happened? So lots of yard work. My red tan, my red face, my moderate sunburn. I should have reapplied some sunscreen after lunch in the early afternoon, but I didn't, so I got a little burnt on the nose. I can feel it, but it's all right. Summer, it happens sometimes. My dad randomly showed up when I was in the back mowing the yard, which was kind of cool. Scared the shit out of me a little bit, but he sat on the back porch and the girls were inside behind the screen door. So it was nice. They got to see him. They haven't seen him in a long time. So it was fun. You get to see them run around a little bit in the backyard, and it was good. Safe social distancing grandparents is something that all grandparents need right now. So yeah. Weird news, surprisingly, was not our mildly awkward business transaction at 9 o'clock in the morning with masks and envelopes. It was just weird. However, Vegas, the Nevada Gaming Board, I shouldn't say Vegas, the Nevada Gaming Board came out with some restrictions for casinos in Las Vegas. And they are limiting the number of gaming spots, which I think we all knew, but they actually came out with some hardcore numbers, like 3 people at blackjack tables, 4 players at roulette, 6 at craps tables, and that's the big 8-foot craps tables. And I don't know if you've ever played on a 8-foot craps table. That's huge, and to only have 6 people on it is pretty small, but I see it, I get it. And then they didn't really touch on how many slot machines or if there were gonna be spaces between those, but they did. But the important thing is they did come out with a number that will be what Vegas is gonna start with. Now what they move forward after the initial opening, but this is the plan. 4 players per table. So it'll be 4-handed cash games, 4-handed tournaments if they do tournaments. It'll be pretty tough to do tournaments at 4-handed, but cash games are a thing. We'll see how that goes, because there's a lot of discussion about rake reduction, and if you're doing a rake reduction, are they even gonna run those games? And they're at 50% capacity anyways, which means it puts a ton of pressure on you know, poker in general, that if you've got people that are willing to play other games that are more profitable for the casino, do they even open up poker? Do they just walk in and close a poker table and be like, hey, we got 10 extra guys that want to play slot machines and they'd rather have them playing than poker? We'll see. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't know if that applies to anything in the Midwest here. I was having a conversation with my father-in-law, then my wife later, about how it's a little odd that we're doing everything state by state, and let me say it this way. It seems really weird and maybe counterproductive to have the same rules in place in Chicago as we do out in the suburbs. The population density is much denser in the city of Chicago. Then as you move out towards Naperville, which is where I am, it gets less populated. Still very populated, but definitely less populated than the city of Chicago. Then if you go out to DeKalb, which is where I played golf yesterday, even more so, there are less people out in DeKalb. Go further out in DeKalb, I don't even know what the hell's out there before you get to Rockford, but those people should not be on the same rules as what we are versus what we're at in Chicago. So the whole point being is, I don't know if this is gonna be something that affects the gambling industry or casinos in and around Chicago. Just because this is what Vegas is doing. A lot more tourism, different sets of rules, different governing boards. It's the gaming board that came up with these numbers, not the governor of Nevada. So, I don't know, little tidbit that came out sometime today. Thought you guys would be interested in it. Would you play poker if it was four-handed? If we had to start CCG events and we could only play four-handed, would that be something you would be interested in? And even more so, if there was no restriction on the number of players, does that help or make it worse? I don't know. Let me know what you guys are thinking, because it is always what these vlogs are really about, is getting some feedback from you guys about what you want and what you think should happen. So let us know. We will see you tomorrow. Day 49, Sunday, episodes 5 and 6. 5 and 6 of The Last Dance?
Yes.
Episodes 5 and 6 of The Last Dance, which I cannot wait for. It is by far my most exhilarating moment of each week, and then my 7-year wedding anniversary is on Monday, so that's like a second place of most important things that are coming up in the next 48 hours. See you guys tomorrow for day 49. 7 years. She got a great deal.